Lyman Thompson, who's sitting in the back of council chambers this evening. Mr. Thompson was kind enough to donate to the town a beautiful photo of the Doughboy Monument that's found on the grounds of the Veterans Memorial Library. We've hung that Doughboy photo above the Armed Services Memorial that we have in the back of the council chambers, and we hope to dedicate it as a council at the next meeting. Councilman Hokinson, as a veteran himself, wanted to be present for that dedication. So I've asked Mr. Thompson if he would mind if we did that on December 17th. I believe that's our next meeting. December 18th. December 18th is our next meeting, at which time we will dedicate that in the fashion and with the respect that it's due. We thank you, Mr. Thompson, for your generous gift. Thank you very much. I went to the Cassano Center meeting last night, and one of the proposals that was made at the Cassano Center is they're trying to open the center up to old and young. There are certain activities that take place now with the seniors. Children are involved in some of the activities with Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, some other activities there. But they wanted to open it up to some other different types of activities. And they spoke to a young woman last night who runs a program called Kinder Dance. It's a program where younger children have an opportunity to come in and dance and exercise. It's a very specific and rigid program, and they want to get permission from the council to do so. I provided our clerk with some of the documentation to that effect, and hopefully she can pass it out to members of council so that way we can make a decision at the next meeting how we wish to proceed with that. I think it would be a good idea, because what it does do is it broadens the spectrum of the customer base that we have at the Cassano Center. You bring in not just the young kids, you bring in their parents who watch them, and you get the interactions that we hope to have in the Cassano Community Center. It's not a senior center, it's a community center, so it will give us an opportunity to do things that I think are important for our town. My time as mayor is winding down. I have one more regular meeting after this one. It's I have to admit, it's a good feeling to come to the end of a really great 4-year journey. And I always forget to thank somebody, so I want to start thanking people this meeting, and hopefully I can finish up as my term progresses. Roselle Park is fortunate to have some really great employees. Every one of our departments, we are so fortunate to have people that care about our town, that go above and beyond to make sure that the day-to-day activities in this town proceed without danger, without problems, and with fun and involvement by all residents. The people that sit on the dais, I thank on a regular basis, and I will thank them individually. The directors of the different programs, I thank them. Every one of the employees that we have who dedicates their time at DPW, in the clerk's office, the finance office, in our construction department, our police department, our DPW, our courts. These are all people that really go out of their way to make sure that our residents get the services that they expect. One of the most important factors in our community, however, is all the volunteers. In dealing with organizations such as the RPYDSL, and dealing with organizations such as Pop Water, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the Cassano Center volunteers, at the library we see volunteers, we see residents coming together for the good of the community. Those are the moments that make me proudest of being the mayor of this community. And it's all of those people, the families that have really made this town great over the years, that I wish to begin thanking. I'm never going to get an opportunity to thank you all from the bottom of my heart personally, but each one of you individually, and you know who you are. I thank you for the time that you put into our community, and I hope that you recognize that your time will pay off with dividends in the future. At this time, that will conclude my comments for this evening. Madam Clerk, given that we're not going to do the presentation this evening for the Doughboy Monument, are there any other certificates or proclamations to be put on?
No, sir.
Thank you. I think that now we have to go into a public hearing for development block.
Yes, Mayor. I moved to interrupt the regular order of business to conduct a public hearing on year 41 community development funds for anyone wishing to speak.
Do I hear a second from you?
Second.
This is a public hearing which is required to get input from residents as to what projects they might wish to have considered under this community development funds funding. Public facilities improvements that we have in mind at this point are Seton Avenue to Westfield Avenue. Seton Avenue and Westfield Avenue to Fayette Avenue. Seton Avenue from Westfield Avenue to Fayette Avenue. Public services include senior citizen social services, senior citizen handyman program.
Mayor, I move to open the public hearing on year 41 community development funds for anyone wishing to speak.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
If I may for 1 minute, I just want you, the council and everyone to be aware that the project for Seton Avenue is in the amount of the request for the grant is $192,547.38. The other two projects are the Senior Citizen Social Service Program in the amount of $40,000 and the Senior Citizen Handyman Program in the amount of $1,000.
Thank you. The public comment portion is now open. Anyone wishing to speak with regard to the Community Development Block Grant Program, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Years ago, there was supposed to be a hookup by Comcast from the football field to the high school, from the high school up to the Borough Hall here. So we could show football games and other activities at the field. Mrs. Callahan, you recall that? No. But anyway, it was. Also,
Mr. McGarrett, if I could respond to that, I mean, I remember that there were conversations about the potential of doing such a thing, but I don't think I ever remember somebody saying it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. I remember there being conversation.
it was part of an inducement for Comcast to redo the contract. I think there are some wires up there, but it's never been completed.
I beg to differ, I don't know. I don't know what the Board of Education has done, but that's...
Also, there are 19 streetlights.
This is about the community development
Well,
block.
I mean, are we going to get new lights?
This is about the community development block grant program. We're not going to get new lights from this now.
Oh. Okay. I wasn't aware that the block grant was coming up tonight. The meeting started late. People came in late. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on the community development block grant programs, please step forward, state your name and address. Tell us what's on your mind.
Mayor, seeing no one else wishing to speak, I move to close the public hearing on year 41 community development funds.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Public hearing is now closed on the community development funds. Do I hear a motion to approve what we have? Okay. All those in favor of approving the community development block grant program as suggested? Okay, I'm being told that what we need to do is take a vote to close the hearing on the public community development block grant plan. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the hearing is now closed. Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, we'll go around the circle. We're in the month of November, so we would start with our 5th Ward Councilman. He's not present. The Council President we go next. He's not present. We'll go with our 1st Ward Councilman, Councilman Andrew Casades.
Thank you,
So
Mayor.
we went in December, so we would have started with the Councilman at large.
Thank you, Mayor. There's a few things that are on the agenda from a finance perspective that are positive and moving forward. I do want to note that there probably won't be any conclusion to the 5-year planning process this year, which is somewhat upsetting for me, but it's really nobody's fault, in all honesty, just because it'll be the end of my term. But with the new administration and everything and different prioritization, I think that would be actually better for the new mayor and his council and for the borough's finances, just to let it go over into January and have them pick it up, and I have full faith that they will. And there's been constant communication about that, and I think everyone feels good about it. So, and I think the residents should feel good about that process moving forward, because everybody's very interested in doing it. Otherwise, I have, oh, Mayor, you could just give me 1 second. You want to comment on the rebound at all? Okay. I don't want to put numbers. All right, we have, this past week, I sent this out to the mayor and the members of the finance committee about the reval that was authorized by the council this year. We received bids. We received bids this week. I'm happy to say that we received 2. Both of the bids were much lower than we had anticipated, them being to the amount where they could be potentially $250,000 less, which is an amazing result for the borough. Because if you remember, we put aside $500,000 of surplus monies from various places, so there was no impact to the taxpayer. This will be even less of an impact to the taxpayer because those surplus monies can be kept in the event that there need to be some changes, maybe a change order or something to that effect, or they might just be canceled and sent back to surplus. So the 2 bid packages are still being reviewed, and I'm happy to say that they should be and will be on for the next meeting on December 18th. That's all I can report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And, as I told you privately, and I told Ken privately, thank you both very much. I think that the reval is something that this town needs more than just about anything else in order to maintain economic stability. And the work that you 2 have done to make that happen has been yeoman's effort, and we appreciate it. Next up is our 2nd Ward Council Representative, Councilman Charlene Story.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things tonight. First, I wanted to thank Karen Intile for the wonderful job she and her staff did with the Thanksgiving baskets. I don't want to steal her thunder when she gives her report the next meeting, but it was a terrific effort, terrific coordination.
Sorry.
Terrific job coordination. Lots of people made contributions, and I'm sure Karen will be thanking all of them. But I did want to mention the beautiful job done by students at the Aldine School, not just in what they gave, which was a tremendous amount in each basket, but their presentation. They did a beautiful job putting everything together, and it really was very festive. So they really deserve a lot of credit. And again, Karen, Mary Ann, Bill, everybody did just an awful lot of work making sure everybody got everything. Those who were not able for physical reasons to get there, that they got their items, and they really were wonderful. On Tuesday night, I stopped in at the Church of the Assumption, where the county was giving a foreclosure seminar. I later communicated with Karen Positon from the county. She said that they were able to help almost every person who came in. It was a good turnout. But as she pointed out, they can't help people who don't come. So this is something I would like to see, we can keep the ball rolling and every few months have something like this. So anybody who has a problem or thinks they might have a problem in the future can come in and we'll stop the problem before it develops. So again, thanks very much to Karen Positan and all the other folks that she put, for the effort she put together on Tuesday night. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is our third ward council representative, Councilman Ryan Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. With the holiday season in full swing, just want to remind everybody, and this is the time of year you see those public service announcements, please don't drink and drive. You see, you have the holiday parties at work, with your families. I'm sure you'll see the crackdowns on drinking and driving and more checkpoints, and I know we're actually looking at one of the resolutions this evening on that. Especially these days, taxis, designated drivers, the Uber taxi app, really no excuses, but it was just something, I'd seen a few things on the news lately and then just kind of wanted to bring that up. And on another note, I'd like to remind everybody that if you would like to have Santa Claus and his elves deliver a gift to your home, please contact the fire chief. The gifts must be dropped off to the firehouses by Tuesday, the 16th. And then the Roselle Fire Department Santa and their elves will deliver the gifts on the weekend of the 20th and 21st. And on that same note, Fire Chief relayed to me that he would be unable to attend tonight's meeting due to family matters. That is all I have to report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And next up is our fourth ward council representative, Councilman Gino Morossi.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to extend my condolences to our power attorney, Mr. Huxford. My report, I have the EMS class. We have 6 people who graduate from Union County College. Also news about First Aid Squad, they update their website on Facebook and Twitter. Right now, if you can look at it, it's www.rpems.org. Again, it's www.rpems.org. It's on Facebook and in Twitter as well. I just want to remind our residents also too that we have a 10 on-site First Aid Squad. If anybody would like to donate clothes, shoes, you can go there and it's outside First Aid Squad. You're also going to receive a receipt. It could be a tax deductible. My last things to report is I'm driving in Amsterdam Avenue and see things how's going along with the pavings. Just want to see that great job that you're doing. That's about it.
Thank you. Now we'll go with our professionals, and we'll begin with our borough engineer, Mr. Thompson Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also would like to offer my condolences, thoughts and prayers to the Huxford family. Just going through my report real quick, and just to jump on what Councilman was regarding Amsterdam Avenue. The road has been paved, concrete work is complete. There are some punch list items that need to be addressed, as well as just striping on top of the surface course. That will probably happen sometime next week. Regarding Lincoln Avenue, all the concrete work is complete. It's half paved. It will be finished paved tomorrow, as well as Clay Avenue, Councilwoman. Again, striping will be done next week, as well as the outstanding punch list items. So we're happy that the weather held out to get those jobs done before the end of the year. Regarding the public hearing tonight for at least one of the projects, Seton Avenue Community Development, the application is due tomorrow. We were working with Madam Clerk with the estimate and the site mapping application, so that will be submitted on behalf of the borough. We're still waiting for the DOT fiscal year 2015 awards. We have not heard probably another 2 months regarding that project. And that's what I have to report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'd also like to invite up our DPW representative, Mr. Richard Graves.
Good evening. I sent the report last week. Only total item is the a la carte bulk. That's going well. It's 18 pickups in November and 8 so far in December. And Christmas, a few more punch lists for tomorrow. We'll be ready for tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Questions? Thank you very much.
I did install, we installed a sign on a different spot though, because that's,
It didn't work out.
sorry, that post is gone at that spot. So we moved it one block, just so you know, on Webster. It's Webster and Chestnut, just look for it there.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is our Chief Legal Counsel, Mr. Rich Huxley.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. So Mayor, the last 2 weeks have been very quiet on the legal front. No news to report on any of the cases. We're hoping to resolve a couple of cases before the end of the year. I'm just waiting for the attorneys for the other parties to get back to me as to possible settlements. Mayor, on a personal note, I do want to thank all of Mayor and Council, all the professionals, all the departments, all the residents the last couple of days that have been so kind to my family and myself, from a hug to a nice word to a kind word to phone calls, text messages, emails. The outreach has been overwhelming from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of my family, I want to thank everyone. That's all I can say. We'll thank everyone in person, but everyone's been great. Fire department, police department, all the departments of the town, DPW, everyone's reached out, and all I can say is thank you. It certainly isn't enough, but I do want to say thank you to everyone. You've been great. You made this as easy as it possibly could be. And to my dad, I love you. I miss you, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our Borough Clerk, Mr. Ray.
Just one item, Mayor. January, there will be training for newly elected officials, or if the present elected officials wish to attend, I will be distributing that at the next meeting, and you can just advise me if you wish to attend, and I will sign you up.
Thank you. And finally, our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ken Blow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. Just a quick update. We did have our tax sale on Tuesday, November 25th. All 57 properties sold at the sale, and each one of them sold for a premium, and we took in $581,200 in premiums that day. So the good news is, it's unfortunate for the people that had the lien put on, but the borough's getting their money to help all other taxpayers.
I will entertain a report to, a motion to accept the reports of the department.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the reports of the departments as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The reports of the departments are hereby accepted. Do I hear a motion on the public comment portion?
Mayor, I make a motion that the public comment be open at this time.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Public comment portion is open. Anyone wishing to speak, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the audience, viewing audience, members of council, good evening. Being that you have two more meetings, or one more meeting, can we go over the 7-minute limit?
No.
Thank you. There are 5 people in the audience. Saturday is December 7th, 2014. It's 73 years ago Pearl Harbor was bombed. 19 lights are out on Westfield Avenue. Perhaps a Department of Public Works worker can go out at night and check the street lights around town for the safety, health, and welfare of the residents, the people of Roselle Park. Revaluation. $500,000 was put off the side to pay for it, and now we're paying $250,000. Andrew, Councilman Casillas, good job. Mr. Blum, good job. Can you save us another $250 someplace?
I think that by doing this, you're going to save more than $250,000 every year.
Resolution 23514. Amsterdam Avenue and East Clay Avenue improvements awarded to Neglia Engineering Associates, et cetera, for the sum of $39,660. And then you have in the parentheses $14,500. Is that a single figure of 36 or figure of two? The 36 and 14, or is it 14,000?
It's in the text of the resolution itself there.
Yeah, I know.
It's 14.
It's 14.5.
14,500. And that'll be amended.
You're going to change that?
The wording of the resolution will be changed.
And to the chair, may I discuss ordinance 2430 now, or is that going to be read for second reading tonight?
You can do it now, or you can do it later. It's up to you.
Or maybe I can do both. If I run out of time, I can come back and get it.
2430.
It's open now.
2430 is introduction, so there's not going to be a public hearing on that tonight.
It will be public
There
hearing.
will not be a public hearing. It's
All right, then
introduction.
I'm going to bring it up. The minimum and max, there's the one on the top, borough clerk, 50,000 to 100,000. That's $50,000 difference. I know it's in between someplace, but this is the first time I'm reading that there's such a big spread. It's a 50% spread. Somebody could get paid $100,000.
There are certainly other positions that have even a larger spread, a much larger spread. For example, tax collectors, 10,000 to 90,000. So it's,
And there's one from 1,000 up to 17,000.
right, it's a spread.
That's, I haven't seen this
Oh,
in the years I've been sitting here.
I've seen it, this
You
is
see
cut-
everything.
This
You
is
see
cut and
everything.
paste.
Yeah.
This is cut and paste from previous years. So it's been here every year. And it's standard practice when you're putting out specifications, you have to have a range. You don't want to put a specific number, you have a range, and that's what you work off of.
Getting back with the Comcast line from the football field to the high school to the Borough Hall, if anyone can find that out. Excuse me, and I believe there should have been a line running at to the library because of the activities that outside the holidays, the veterans holidays, etc. And I understand there's one at the Signorella Center. If we can put them all together here, somebody's got to have some information on this.
Well, apparently you think you have information. My recollection from when the most recent contract was done was that there was absolutely no discussion about that. And the prior contract, there had been some discussion about it. There was no agreement to do it. And when I was on the Board of Education, we tried to get it just from the football field to the high school. And there were some technical issues that were too costly to be addressed.
Maybe the cracks are maybe too wide, spread apart. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, viewing audience, members of council, good night.
Mayor, could I just address one thing? Because there's always been some confusion everywhere I've gone about the range for salaries. So I'm going to put it in perspective. I'm a registered municipal clerk, and I was hired in a town up in northern Bergen County. I don't hold that position anymore, but I was hired for $62,000 in the middle, roughly in the middle of the year, so not at the very beginning of the year. My predecessor in that respect was making about $98,000, $99,000, and I came in and I was making $62,000 because I was brand new, just certified, middle of the year, So the range on the salary was between 50 to 100,000. So the fact of the matter is, you never know, depending on a retirement or resignation, you never know what the circumstances may be. So you leave that open range so you don't have to have the added cost of amending a salary ordinance every time the governing body wants to make a decision or a situation comes up. So you leave a little bit of leeway for yourself. There's no other reason than that.
That was for Jacob.
I
Just wanted to
Yeah.
put a real-world example.
I mean, it's not,
that's the way it works.
the fact that we even have to discuss it is craziness to me. Any job that I've ever applied for, there are salary ranges. Every employer has salary ranges. To question something that's a cut and paste from prior years and has been reviewed, although there is an addition on there that I will talk about at the next meeting, but to question a cut and paste job and say that it has never appeared before is ludicrous. It's a cut and paste from prior years, and it's been tweaked, but it's the same guy basically as the prior years.
I agree with you. I just wanted to put a real-world example because it's a question that does come up. Other than Mr. McGarry asking the question, it is something that people ask about because they just don't understand. It's like people think we're shooting in the dark. It's really not. It's where the salaries have been, where they're going, depending on the contract, and there's a variety of factors you take in when you do an ordinance like this. And in many respects, it is a cut and paste because there's been planning in the past that just follows through depending on the contract, because we have a lot of long-standing employees, and when I say that, over 5 years, you have more than one contract, or 2 contracts, or 3 contracts that have passed. So the ordinance pretty much extends itself with time.
But, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Keith Hyman, 300 East Westfield Avenue, with Andrew's last 2 meetings. The first time he came up, he said that he wasn't expecting to speak. I'm going to say that. But anyway, I have knowledge of what Jake was speaking about with the cable and Comcast and everything. 2005, there was a franchise agreement because before Verizon came in the picture, where they went with the state franchise, Comcast would have to go with the town. So in 2005 is when our franchise was up, and one of the few things that were agreed upon was a line from the press box of the football field to the high school, which was done. I was an employee at the time. I made sure that went in and everything. The only thing there is the high school will be responsible for hooking up from point A to point B to send it to the town hall. I won't get too technical, but pretty much the high school would have to do the interconnect between point A and point B. And the youth center has a feed from the youth center to here. So if we wanted to do any live parades, we would have to connect to their line, but it's in place. So as far as the live feeds, we do have them in place. It's just the high school one. The high school would have to be involved with going from interconnecting it from point A to point B.
That sounds like it's a Board of Education issue.
But as far as with Comcast's end of the deal has been completed. And the youth center is done too, because I met with triple eds. There was Ed Deck, Ed from Comcast, and that's when they installed the one for the youth center. So I know they're in place, it's just that it has to be acted upon. So that's pretty much the fact. It's in place, and
There's no live feed from the football field to the high school to Borough Hall, from the library to Borough Hall, or from the Cassano Center to Borough Hall, which is what Mr. McGarry said. There are no live feeds in those directions.
Yeah,
that was never part of the contract.
No.
It was never part of any agreement. It was never discussed. I should say that there were some discussions about it, but it was never agreed to that something like that would happen. Never.
it's in place. It just has to be connected at the high school, and it's always been the responsibility of the high school to do that.
Which is potentially the Board of Education.
Exactly, you're correct on that. And the youth center, it's or as long as we put the camera on one end and connect it up and get it ready upstairs, it's in place. So as well as the youth center. So hopefully we can continue this with like on committee next year, or I can definitely help with that, and we'll go forward with that if we choose to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harvey. Anyone else wishing to speak, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Mayor, seeing no one else wishing to speak, I make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Public portion is now closed. I believe we have some minutes from November 6th and November 20th.
Yes, Mayor, I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 6th and November 20th, 2014 as submitted.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are hereby approved. I will accept a motion on bills and payrolls.
Mayor, I make a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and bills and payrolls be passed for payment.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Zais,
Aye.
Councilwoman Story,
Aye.
Councilman Kelly,
Yes.
Councilman El Marassi,
Here.
Four votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Bills and payrolls are accepted.
So use the second. Not working?
Yes, Councilman Rossi is on the motion seconded motion.
Should say yes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, we have several ordinances for second reading this evening. I would ask you to read ordinance 2427 by title only.
Okay, ordinance 2427, an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of Roselle Park, abolishing Chapter 3, Section 17, entitled Curfew for Juveniles.
Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I make a motion that the public hearing on ordinance 2427 be opened.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Public hearing for ordinance 2427 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 2427, ordinance 2427 only, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Here to make a exposure of the name to Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the audience, viewing audience, members of council, good evening.
Okay, here you
Is this to
Demolish. Turn the mic on, Jay.
Your mic's off.
Keith.
That's
Supposed to be on.
abolishing the curfew for juveniles?
Correct.
Excuse me?
That's correct, yes. That's correct.
Yes.
Are you replacing it with something else? You're just not going to have any curfew whatsoever?
Not on this agenda, there's no. Not on this agenda, there are other agendas that might be placed on there.
I'm sorry, I don't think.
On this agenda, we're abolishing the curfew. If the future council wishes to put another curfew in place, they can pass their own ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance 2427 and ordinance 2427 only, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on it.
Mayor, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2427.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing on ordinance 2427 is hereby approved. I'm sorry, public hearing on ordinance 2427 is hereby closed. Do I hear a motion on the ordinance?
Mayor, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2427 on second reading.
Second.
Any questions or comments on ordinance 2427?
Mayor, I just want to note for the public's enlightenment, and I believe I said this a couple of times, that this is a recommendation of the Public Safety Committee and the Chief of Police, and the understanding and the reality is that there are other measures that the police can use to deter loitering, destruction of property, other types of things than this ordinance, and because there were some questions on the validity and the applicability of the ordinance as it's written now, we all mutually decided to get rid of it so that it doesn't become an issue and it will not deter the police from doing their job and keeping the public safe.
Thank you. Any other comments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cassius?
Yes.
Councilwoman Story?
Yes.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Councilman Almarazzi?
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance 2427 is hereby approved. Madam Clerk, the next ordinance on this evening is 2429. Could you please read by title only?
Ordinance 2429 is an ordinance amending Chapter 60, Sections 60-2 and 60-3 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park regarding salaries for school crossing guards for the Borough of Roselle Park for 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I make a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2429 be opened at this time.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Public hearing for ordinance 2429 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 2429 and ordinance 2429 only, please step forward, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Mayor, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2429.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Public hearing on ordinance 2429 is now closed.
Because Councilman Hilton isn't here, he asked me to do this. He said, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2429, that's 2429er, second reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on ordinance 2429. Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cassius?
Yes.
Councilwoman Story?
Yes.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
And Councilman Almarazzi?
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance 2429 is hereby approved. We have an ordinance for introduction this evening, Madam Clerk. It's number 2430. Could you please read it by title only?
Ordinance 2430, an ordinance fixing the salaries of certain officials and employees of the Borough of Roselle Park in the County of Union, State of New Jersey for the years 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I make a motion that ordinance number 2430 be approved on first reading and advertised as prescribed by law for second reading and public hearing on December 18th, 2014.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ordinance 2430 is approved for introduction. We're now going to go into our consent agenda. Madam Clerk, could you please read Resolution 234-14 through 242-14?
Ordinance 23414, authorizing the Borough Clerk to auction unclaimed police vehicles. 23514, awarding professional service proposal to Negley Engineering for Amsterdam Avenue and East Clay Avenue improvements in the amount of $14,500. 23614, awarding professional service proposal to Negley Engineering for proposed fire alarm system for the municipal building and police headquarters in the amount of $6,830. 23714, opposing Senate Bill number 2412 and Assembly Bill 3628 entitled the Water Infrastructure Protection Act. 23814, setting the salaries for the clerical union for the year 2015 to 2019. 23914, approving insertion of an item in the 2014 budget for 2014 Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over Year-End Holiday Crackdown Grant in the amount of $7,500 to 4014, continuing support for the goals and purposes of the 2004 Highlands Water Protection and Planning Act. 24114, authorizing the police department to cover the parking meters in the downtown business area for the holiday season from December 5th, 2014 to January 5th, 2015. 24214, accepting the donation of the 2009 Ford Crown Victoria.
These matters are considered routine and non-controversial by the council and will be considered in one motion. There will not be separate. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of council so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in normal sequence on the agenda. Yes.
Mayor, on resolution number 236-14, that same error was repeated on the 39,000.
Sorry.
So that will be addressed as well. So 23514 and 23614 are correct that they read in the resolution title. The resolution wording has to be changed in two places. With that said, they're not going to be withdrawn from the consent agenda. Is there any items that need to be withdrawn from the consent agenda?
Mayor, there being no items removed, I make a motion to approve resolutions 234 through and including 242-14.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cassius.
Yes.
Councilwoman Story.
Yes.
Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Councilman Almarazzi.
Yes.
4 votes in the affirmative, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Resolution 234, 235, 236, 237, 238, 239, 240, 241, and 242-14 are hereby approved. I have one more appointment to make this evening. It's the appointment of Patrick Thompson, 680 Trenton Avenue, Kenilworth, New Jersey, as a member of the Roselle Park Fire Department, effective immediately, to be assigned to the Lorraine Host Company. And I believe I have to make that. Are there any other matters for referral to the committee of the council? Are there any items for closed session this evening? Wow. Is there anything else for the good of the cause?
Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.